Thank you very much from wherever you're watching us from. This is WTV Sports Center. My name is Elijah Mwangi.
And I'm Steve Ndirango.
This time round, we are having a different approach. Apart from giving you news of what's happening in the world of sports, we are also having a lengthy and a in-depth discussion on what to expect in these weekend matches.
Well, this weekend, what to expect? That is a good question. We'll be having the Barcelona versus Real Madrid match, the El Clasico as others may call it, at the Nou Camp in Barcelona. And also we'll be having the Merseyside derby, that is Liverpool versus Manchester United. So brace yourself for a weekend full of football action.
And at last we have a reason to smile because Kenya Premier League is back. At least we're not having football being played in High Court, but this time Gor Mahia will be taking over Bandari FC at City Stadium. So these and more details in this sports show. But first of all, let's see what's making news in the world of sports. Thank you for watching WTV. We start our show with the news that the Kenya handball team has qualified for the All-African Games scheduled to take place in September at Congo, Brazzaville. The girls extended their reign in Zone 5 for the fourth time after winning all the matches in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The Kenyan girls now join Algeria, Angola, Congo, and Zambia to make 5 the teams that have already qualified for this year's Pan-African Games.
National men handball team qualified for the 11th edition of All African Games AAG after whitewashing Burundi in the qualifiers on Friday evening in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The team emulated Kenya's women's team who qualified for the Continental Games to be held in Brazzaville, Congo later in September. They opened by beating neighbors Uganda 27-23. Ethiopia did not win a match in the three-nation women's tourney after they were also beaten by Uganda 23-28. Marina Ndala and Brenda Rivisa were instrumental in the Kenya team's good fortunes in Addis. The Nairobi Water Club duo netted a total of 27 and 21 goals respectively in the Ethiopian outing. With the absence of Egypt, the regional defending champions, Kenya were the favorites to lift the title on paper.
Our tactic here is that we work on attack with a lot of speed, and with that kind of a speed and doing some feints, we should be able to come out victorious.
In 2011 and 2007, Kenya finished second to Egypt in the same championship. With the 2 wins, handball is the only national team sport that has qualified for a continental showpiece. The football team was eliminated by Egypt last weekend. The women's team finished 7th in the 2011 edition in Maputo, Mozambique, while the men's team was 9th out of the 12 teams.
And on matters football, the Kenya Premier League can continue after the High Court ruled in favor of the Kenya Premier League Limited in a case filed by the Football Kenya Federation. Lady Justice Roslyn Aburili made the ruling in a packed court in Nairobi. And now the Kenya Premier League has been given green light to continue with the top league that was stopped for about 3 weeks. So what next for FKF? We now take a look on what to expect in the Kenya Premier League and the implications of that ruling. The High Court on Monday set aside orders that have been issued barring KPL from organizing and managing the Premier League, following a suit filed by Football Kenya Federation FKF accusing KPL of running a parallel league. In her ruling, Justice Roslyn Aburili held that FKF had no capacity to bring proceedings against KPL, which it had gone ahead and obtained orders to bar them from managing the league.
Notice of motion dated 20th February 2015 filed by Football Kenya Federation is struck out for abatement as there was no applicant persona party capable of and with the legal capacity to initiate and prosecute the said application.
KPL had filed an objection to the suit and had asked the court to strike out the suit filed by FKF, arguing that the World Football Governing Body, FIFA, had a clear mechanism of resolving disputes, but the judge declined to terminate the case. So what next for FKF? This is a question that is giving FKF chairman Sam Nyamoya and his National Executive Council a constant headache in the wake of bungled court cases that have swung in favor of Kenya Premier League Limited. Credible sources indicate that the federation is in panic mode and one at pains to reconcile with the public that is angry at how they have handled the need to expand the league to 18 teams. Although FKF enjoys backing from Football World Governing Body, FIFA, the confidence with which KPL has taken the battle to them has left some of the National Executive Council members asking whether Sam Nyamoya's time to leave has come. In efforts to settle the matter out of court, Sam Nyamoya and his partners proposed to KPL to have FKF Premier League comprising of two zones, A and B, with teams promoted from the National Super League constituting Zone B, while those that previously participated in the KPL League participate in Zone A. Who will win this year's Cricket World Cup? Now, as the tournament continues to heat up, a lot of special match pundits have continued to predict on who will lift the trophy in the finals that will be held on 29th March in Melbourne. Now, it has taken about 4 weeks and now the tournament is coming to a point of home stretch. This comes as South Africa cruised in the World Cup semi-finals after thrashing Sri Lanka in quarter-finals. South Africa won their first ever World Cup elimination game Wednesday, dispatching Sri Lanka convincingly by 9 wickets at the Sydney Cricket Ground and advancing to a semi-final against either New Zealand or the West Indies. The Proteas have had a mixed campaign with heavy defeats to India and Pakistan, mixed in with some comprehensive victories against some of the lesser nations in their pool. Quinton de Kock hit an unbeaten 78 from 55 balls to complete the win in just 18 overs after a stunning Sri Lanka collapse that saw them bowed out for 133 in 37.2 overs. Sri Lanka, having won the toss and opted to bowl, lost regular wickets as JP Dani took a hat-trick as they lost 4-2 in 9 balls as the 2007 and 2011 World Cup finalists exited the 2015 tournament at the first opportunity. Sri Lanka had become a source of frustration for South Africa, which fielded teams capable of winning the World Cup after rejoining the international arena at the 1992 tournament, but failed in 5 straight knockout games. And in athletics, World 3000 steeplechase silver medalist Conseslus Kipruto has started training to make sure that he's fit for this year's World Championship in Beijing, which will be held sometimes in August, having threatened and almost toppled the world champion in this category, that is Ezekiel Kemboi. Many people are expecting that Conseslus Kipruto will be on top form come this year's competitions.
Having threatened and almost toppled his mentor and world champion Ezekiel Kemboi in Moscow back in 2013, Kipruto hopes to emerge with an enhanced reputation when he lines up at the Bird's Nest Stadium in Beijing. The 20-year-old Kipruto showed his class and commitment in the run-up to the Moscow Worlds. He has also confirmed that it will not be business as usual in the gold hunting, irrespective of the opposition. His arrival on the international stage confirmed that Kenya's production lines in the water and hurdle event are still active. Kipruto first grabbed international headlines when, aged 17, he won the 2011 World Youth Championships in Lille, France. He proved his class a year later when he won at the Barcelona World Junior Championships. He won the Diamond League Trophy in 2013, beating Kemboi in Eugene, US and Oslo, Norway. Kipruto will miss the World Cross Country after a 1-year hamstring injury layoff, which he picked in the 2013 Brussels Diamond League meeting.
And in this week's sports profile, we focus at one man who summed up a golden generation at Arsenal better than any other. We are talking about the man, Thierry Henry. He's still also in his time in North London that defines him as a player, despite subsequent spells with Barcelona, New York Red Bulls, and Brigana's career that included Monaco and Juventus. Let's now take a look at Thierry Henry, the footballer.
Again, Almeida couldn't stay with him, and Henry has scored a terrific goal. His first as an Arsenal player.
Just a little sharper turn of pace. Henry! Oh! What a strike by Henry! Henry skips around ball. Henry! His sheer quality.
Now here's a situation that Thierry Henry would exploit
If you reveal your secrets to the wind, then you should never blame the wind for revealing them to the trees. Those are not my words, but words from one poet, Khalil Gibran from Lebanon. And now we have some secrets from Santiago Bernabeu here. And in our Rumor Has It segment, this week we bring you the latest football transfer gossip. Chelsea are ready to splash the cash on Real Madrid duo Gareth Bale and Rafael Varane. Rumor has it that the Blues will offer the Spanish giants an eye-watering €150 million in order to beat Manchester United to both their signatures. As reported earlier by the Daily Express, Jose Mourinho has highlighted the two stars as summer priorities following Chelsea's early Champions League exit at the hands of PSG. Bale is rumored to be unhappy at the Santiago Bernabeu after suffering criticism from fans and pundits in Spain, with some hinting at an apparent fallout with teammate Cristiano Ronaldo. Varane is also believed to be looking at other options after finding his way blocked into Carlo Ancelotti's starting 11 by Pepe and Sergio Ramos. And in other transfer gossip, Manchester United and Liverpool are on alert over Eduardo Salvio's ongoing contract talks at Benfica. The Argentina winger, 24, is currently turned to the Lisbon club until 2017, but wary of interest in his services, the Portuguese giants are keen to extend. Salvio's agent Agustin Jimenez was in meetings with Benfica officials on Sunday and Monday in a bid to add an extra year to his deal, but Salvio and his representative are pushing to lower his current release clause of €60 million in return for penning a renewal. Wow, I can't agree more with the Chinese proverb that says that whatever is told in a man's ear sometimes can be heard 100 miles away. Gossip really spreads like a raging bonfire. But remember, there's no smoke without fire. Sometimes you never know. And now to our quote of the week. This time we focus on the American automobile racer Bobby Unser, who said, "Success is where preparation and opportunity meet." Success is where preparation and opportunity meet. And that's how we wrap up the first segment of our sports news. Remember, you can communicate to us. Facebook page is WTV Kenya and our Twitter handle is at WTVKE, #SportsCenter. Let's keep the conversation going. Now we are going to take a short break, but when we come back, my co-host Steve Durang will join me as we discuss more about the matches that you're expecting this weekend. Keep it WTV.